is the first victim, the chestburster scene.
Hmm.
I actually learned that the rest of the cast weren't told what was going to happen. So when you see like the red patch of blood appear on his t-shirt before it's actually burst out, all of the cast just freeze as if to say what's going on. Like, and they
Yeah.
do, and then John Hurt continues acting, and then they just instinctively carry on. Like, I thought that was genius to get like the most
Yeah.
realistic reaction on what was actually happening. Um, but I mean, I actually first heard about the first I'd ever heard about Alien whatsoever. I mean, I was actually a kid. So yeah, it came out in 1979. So my mother would have been an 11-year-old girl at the time, and
Same as my
that
mom.
very
Your mom is the same age
yeah
as mine.
yeah my my mother would have been in the living room with her siblings when that chest burster scene was happening, and she was traumatized. So,
Oh boy. So it is a
um,
legacy then.
to some extent, yeah. I mean, she knows of it. She hates it, but I don't know. Like, I still think it's really really good in terms of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if it's got good writing. I mean, Alien and Aliens will always be my favorite. I'm not really a fan of Alien Resurrection, but I actually liked Alien 3. I know a lot of people didn't, but I actually kind of liked the story with that, and I kind of felt like
Have
it
you
was almost like,
there's a lot of skeptical things going on with Alien 3, man. You know that the original writer for Alien 3 was actually David Twody. I don't know if you ever heard of this writer before. He's a
mm,
screenwriter
no,
and director.
I can't say that I've heard of him, but I mean,
Okay,
I don't
I'll
know,
tell
like
you
I've
another
heard quite
movie
a lot.
that it really is just as close because that was the original script that it transformed in this movie. Have you heard of the Riddick movies, right?
Yeah,
Okay, did you watch Pitch Black?
yes, I did.
That
That was
was the
that was a
original
film.
script they were supposed to use on Alien 3.
Really?
Yes. If you go look at it
Ah,
up,
okay.
you'll find out about it. I only found out about it like very, very recently. So I was
Uh,
pretty shocked about it as well. I was like, wow, that makes sense because the whole fucking atmosphere just feels like an alien space thing. They had to modify it, of course, because you're talking about Riddick now, but the whole plot of the idea was to basically introduce a spaceship on this planet, and it was exactly like how David Twody wrote it, but they slightly modify it. So instead
yeah,
of
so it
like
would have
having
been.
that long travel in the space with the comet attacks and whatever. They just made it shortly where Ripley just crashes on this planet instead, and it kind of went the same way in Pitch Blacks too because they crashed as well. So
Yeah,
you can see the duality in between that they were kind of like matched up with each other. It's crazy, man, because there's so much information and detail to it, but we never pay attention at this stuff until somebody actually leaks this stuff. First there was leaks, and then the directors themselves they couldn't have been quiet anymore, so they say, well, you know what, fuck it, let's just make an interview and let's give the fans what they wanted. They need to know it now after all these years, but still.
well, it's good. It's good closure as well. But I mean, I do have a question for you. I'm wondering what your take is on this. Like,
Right. Go ahead.
because this is actually something interesting that I mean, I didn't notice at first when I watched Alien Earth, but the famous scene with the cyborg saying "Stay calm, they can sense fear." Um, Now that
Oh,
whole detail,
you're talking about the
uh,
Alien Earth, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's obviously a
Okay.
reference to me. Forgot what the comic is, but the comic actually shows how the xenomorphs perceive the world. With it being like through scent and hearing, and obviously sensing pheromones. And
Right.
basically, I like what this comic portrayed. How it like saw all the xenomorphs stand out in like a crimson red as part of the hive, and basically like the synthetics almost look like ghosts because they're not really living things. And so obviously when you see something and you become terrified, you start like your brain releases a chemical in to trigger that emotion. that's pretty much giving yourself away, your position away to a Xenomorph. So, but I'm not saying that like this is like retconning anything like Alien Isolation, because clearly the character model of the Xenomorph in Alien Isolation, like it has to see you, because you hide away from it, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like, and I'm not sure how I feel about the controversy about what the alien sees, or if it can sees, or how it perceives the world, because there's also like these group of people that say the only reason why we can see the perspective of the Xenomorph or the Protomorph from Alien Covenant is because it's not a true Xenomorph.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
I,
wondering what your opinion is on all this.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm with and against this. I'm gonna stand on a very, very neutral background here. I don't know. I
Mhm.
can't really give like a sort of detail. Like I always see, like me personally, like after reading so many comments and people how they share opinions to each other and all, I always said to myself, like, obviously, they if you look at the Xeno, it obviously came from from a human body form, right? So I always
Mhm.
keep saying to myself, maybe it's not entirely human DNA, but it has the same elements as a human, like the way they perceive things. Obviously, yes. I mean, I'm not saying that they can smell fear, but they can smell sweat. So it is kind of like, as fear is kind of like connected to the sweat, because sweat technically it's when your heart pulse becomes higher and higher and higher, right? Especially when you have like
Yeah,
a terrorizing alien. So it has to rely on that, you know.
yeah.
And
It's like
it's the sense of the smell. I don't know about the taste. This is how I've always been curious about this. Like if they how would they flavor the human blood when how when they bite the humans? I wonder if they feel any kind of flavor. That's like another one of those weird things that a lot of people, I don't
I,
hear a lot of people talks about. If it's like it just
I
feels
don't.
like a nutrition or something like that.
Well, I'm not sure if it's about the flavor, really. I think the whole instinct to bite the head is because that's obviously where the chemical is being triggered to feel the emotion in the brain. So they're
Right.
instinctively drawn to that. That's what my hypothesis is. Not just like the killing blow, but it's pretty much like where the pheromone signal is originated from when they look at the victim in question. Um, but I mean, in terms of like how they perceive it, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Like, I mean, it's probably like other life forms. There's so many life forms that actually can see, but are pretty much described as being blind because they rely so much on other senses. It's kind of like a tarantula. A tarantula has multiple eyes, but its vision is poor, and it relies more on vibrations and so on.
And bats
It's kind
too.
of
Bats are blind,
yeah,
technically blind as well. They rely on the sound in order to see. So.
yeah. So it might be something similar to that, but I mean, I do like the idea that that they rely more on pheromones because it does join a lot of dots,
I
especially
mean, just
like when
just think about it, Xeno man. Think about this, right? Because it just goes down to the life work. Because I like we name it Xenomorph, right? But you've seen already probably in many life forms of the specific, let's say, embodiment, right? Because this is literally like a parasite that gives life, right? No matter
yeah,
what body you put it in. If you put it on a dog, we've seen it already in Alien 3. How does it react? It changes everything about that type of Xeno. It changes its perception, it changes its way of attacking, it changes its tactics. Maybe even seeing things it's different. So but I always thought to myself, man, because people because if you talk about fear, right? So if we fear them, it's obviously they fear us. So you know how they say when you got the sense of fear, you're always going to react, right? Because it's a natural instinct to react to the fear. So I believe
yeah.
it's kind of like the same. So if you notice, like when you go to a dog and like the dog sense fear in you, he start fearing you too. But then he reacts to that just as much as you can react back too. So it's kind of like is this weird signal between each other where I think that it's just the xenomorph. He just interacts with you basically because you feel the same thing as he does. So he's like,
Well,
okay, you're being a threat to me, so I have to take you out. That's how
Well,
basically it kind of perceive in my opinion.
well, I actually do agree, and I'll tell you a few examples on why I agree with you there. Because obviously, like I mean, you've heard of the process of egg morphing, haven't you? That we saw
Yeah.
in the extended version of Alien One with Brett and Lambert.
Yeah.
Uh, like, so I mean, obviously, the aliens, whether they're just on their own or in the hive, they're still gonna, continue the life cycle and so on.
Yeah.
But an interesting detail that I've noticed in Aliens and in Alien versus Predator from 2004. So in Aliens, we established that, well, they're not sentient beings like humans and predators, for instance, but they are intelligent enough to coordinate and to destroy, cut the power and stuff like that, and things like that in order to strategize. But they only seem to. I think they only, if they've got a queen, they'll take the host back to the hive. But I think those that they deem too much of a threat, in this case, somewhat feeling fear towards them, they will try and kill outright. It's like
Yeah.
in Aliens, um, the aliens, the Xenomorphs discover that, I mean, a lot of people seem to think that the scene when the Xenomorph kills the pilot in Aliens, and then she crashes, and then they're trapped on LV-426. A lot of people just think, oh, the aliens just done that because of instinct. I think the aliens done that, not just to stop them from escaping, but they'd be more of a threat. But we don't really know if that. Well, I personally think the alien went down with the ship, but maybe the alien was trying to get off the ship as well. And then you've got Alien versus Predator. All the humans, the alien that was to become the nethead or grid, it always took the humans back to the hive. Whereas when it come into contact with the predators, it decided to just outright kill them,
Yeah.
not take them back to the hive. If that makes sense,
I
because
mean, I mean, it does if you think about it, but I think I don't know, maybe because here's the thing, man. Have you noticed something like even in the movie? I always paid attention to this, but I thought I was too crazy to think about it. There was like, why would like even the aliens itself? I mean, I don't know. I can't really take Requiem too seriously, by the way, because it's really so off the hooks, and even they made a huge mistake making that movie. The only thing was nice was just seeing Wolf Predator in action, and that was about it. Everything else about the movie is just crap. But
what
so
movie? I couldn't see anything.
the thing that it it really didn't really add up too much to me, it was the fact that I think that because we were talking about fear, right? How aliens are
Yeah.
like they're triggered to fear and whatnot. I think probably they kind of sense the same thing for the predators. I don't think they would never want to have like, because literally if in their species forms, right, because they're like their own kind of a species, for them to see a Predalien would be kind of an abomination. How it is, just it's the same thing for the Predators itself as well. But I don't know.
Mm.
I'm just thinking right now, but because you go watch Requiem, it's like literally like the Predalien freaking just leads the whole swarm, which is kind of crazy. And but speaking about the swarm, man, one thing it didn't really make sense to me, right? You've noticed how the Predalien was able to lay eggs into human bodies, right? What would
Mm.
that be at that point, right? Because you're talking about like an abomination. So mixing up DNA with Predalien and a human, what would that make? That would be like freaking human, Xeno, and a freaking predator. If you think of it, right? Because that's literally the cycle order here. It's mixed up of DNAs, and
I mean, that's where I think that this is another thing I kind of dislike about the film, because I mean, it contradicts a lot of things. I mean, like,
yeah.
um, I mean, they say that the Predaliens, pincers like kind of work as like the same fingers from a
Hold on.
face hugger.
Sorry to interrupt you. The timeline is horribly bad on that movie too, because it
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't
really
make
is.
any sense at all. Seeing like literally did hunting rifles where when we are freaking 300 years ahead of time, we have like weapons that has like 99 magazine clips while this guy is shooting with a hunting sniper. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean,
uh,
if we were to stick to the true law, I don't think any of the military's normal weapons would have done anything to the xenomorphs
no,
because
no.
it was only the colonial marine weapons that were able to actually do some damage to get through the exoskeleton.
Yeah. They were
Um,
properly designed for that security measures too, because they've seen what they're capable of as well. It's not like they just made the weapons randomly like that. It was custom made just for anti-xeno killers, technically. A bug hunt. Let's put it like that.
well, that's the whole idea with the colonial marines and the whole idea of showing how dangerous the xenomorphs were when we introduced the colonial marines, because the colonial marines are badasses. Like they're the
Yeah.
kind of marines where they can handle literally anything except for this.
Yeah. You
It's
know
it's
what's
kind of like
interesting about the colonial marines, by the way, is they're I'm not saying like they're not humans, they're definitely humans, but they're like humans who are like born and raised in space, like literally, like they're just like another form of live beings if you compare with the people on Earth, you know. I think that's what makes them so badass because they don't act as normal soldiers, you know. They're like too far advanced what it is, in
yeah.
my
Well, I
opinion, you
mean,
know.
this is where I think the timeline gets a bit confusing because
Yeah.
now I I I'm sorry to anyone who's listening to this right now. I'm not sure how you feel about the film. Um, but I mean, the film Alien Romulus, like, I mean, it's not Alien and it's not Aliens, but I didn't think it was a bad film. But what gets
Oh, I
confusing is
loved
like,
Alien Romulus, by the way, now that you mentioned it. I don't know about you,
yeah,
but
I mean,
I
like,
loved it.
I just the whole timeline of how many colony worlds that humanity's got during the
Right.
events of Alien One and Aliens I find it a bit confusing because all we don't really hear any references to other colony worlds until we get to like Alien Three or Alien Resurrection, for instance. Um, so I mean, and then we get to Alien Romulus, which I think is it 20 years after or before Aliens or after
I believe
Alien
so.
One?
20 years, yeah.
Yeah, and there's already like they're on another colony world where the people who live there have never seen the sun before in their life, and she's talking about going to another one where synthetics aren't welcome. So I'm kind of thinking, well, okay, so they've already pretty much
Oh,
got a colony
hold on. You're
world.
talking about the colonial thieves, right?
Well,
The
just
one in the
anyone in
minefield.
general,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. But I mean, I'm not. I don't know. It just kind of threw me off a little bit because I mean, it kind of makes me wonder, like because at the end of Alien, like you think about Ripley's chances of being found.
Right.
You kind of think, okay, so she's in the middle of nowhere in space. What are the chances she's going to drift by to Earth? And then later on, you find out there's possibly more colony worlds that she could have drifted past. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the chances of her being found, like on the blockade of Earth, like I kind of think that makes it even
But
more.
here's another plot armor that it kind of like it didn't. Now that you mentioned this, now because you literally like as you're talking, I'm literally reimagining the scene when I first watched it. Um, it's crazy, man, because what you're telling me right now is not only true, it's more than true because it's kind of like it's kind of overwhelming just to think of it. Just think about the fact that you have freaking big chap floating in the middle of the fucking space, right? You literally have him floating. And considering his body cannot be in any sort of way like fractured to pieces because it's, because of its perfect organism, it cannot be destroyed. And
Mhm.
it formed this crater, whatever, where it kind of looks like an asteroid or something. And they found him, but they couldn't find Ripley, you know. So it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy because it's kind of like we're talking about in the same circle of space here, right? Because I mean, it's not like a circle, but if you think of it, like they're kind of like in the same time zones of where they actually are from each other. Sure, over time they definitely departed from. They definitely took their distance from each other. But if you found a piece of Big Chap, how the heck could you not find any sort of relations to Ripley to it? It's just crazy.
Um, that's a good question, actually. With the only thing I could really explain from that is when the alien was finally 100% ejected into space,
Yeah.
the shuttle that she was in was like already like firing, its jets into whatever direction she was going, whereas Big Chap would have just been floating in motion with the remaining wreckage of the Nostromo.
Yeah.
So they've probably gone back to the last coordinations of the Nostromo and they found Big Chap, whereas Ripley's still going to be drifted in a random direction that she's propelled herself into, so to speak. That's the only thing I can really think about why she wasn't found. but but I do know what you mean because it's like, um, I mean, obviously they would have come to the assumption that there would have been no survivors until another
what do
20
you
years would have passed after
Here,
Romulus.
here's what I expect to hear from you, man, because I got one hell of a reaction by seeing it. I did not expect to see that coming. Well, how did you react to when you first saw Ash coming back? Even though considering like he's not part of the real world anymore, because he died a couple of years back, and yeah.
Well, honestly, the same reaction I had when I saw Grand Moff Tarkin appear in Rogue One. I got I got hyped
Yeah,
because
same.
they're clearly. I mean, obviously, it wasn't Ash. I mean, it was
It
still the same
wasn't.
character,
It wasn't.
same character model as Ash, the same droid unit. But it just shows that the developers were seriously trying to do their homework because it's a similar sort of time, and um, I know he only did I forgot his name, the guy who did Grand Moff Tarkin in A New Hope, but I mean he only did the one film, and his character
Right.
was so popular. Appeared in the Clone Wars, and I know I'm getting off topic. I should be talking about Star Wars right now, but the point I'm trying to make is that if you do your homework, you can make it work. He pretty
Right.
much was the same. He pretty much was the same character, following company directives.
Yeah.
Um, like if that was actually Ash in the film, he would have done the exact same thing. Just
Yeah.
it's
It,
the
it,
same
it
character, just a
replicate.
different name.
It definitely replicate his behavior pretty well, concerning like all the special effects and artificial intelligence they pull it off. Oh yeah, 100%. Like it's my like look. Speaking of artificial intelligence, like I'm not saying I'm with or against. I'm very skeptical about it. I can say it's good. I can say it's bad in many other terms. But in terms of movies, I don't think it's a bad idea. Like just imagine, like you want to see somebody because here's one thing what I love about the artificial intelligence. It could definitely learn human behavior in the sense of like, say you, I don't know, say you have a dead dad, right? But
Mhm.
and he was an actor, whatever. Let's just put it like that, just to give you an example. But his character was so unique and special to this world and to everybody else that nobody could replicate something like him, even in other people's bodies. But then you get the artificial intelligence where it's not like it's only replicating but it's creating uh, the form of personality for the character to be part of the movie that we'd never thought we would have had. And that was the same thing when I saw Ash. I was like, dude, this was literally mind blowing. Like the moment I saw him, I literally shit my pants. I kid you not. Like I was so happy to see him back. Like he was like one of my favorite antagonists from the first movie. Like this was a A plus for me. So I have a lot of faith on not anymore because freaking Ridley Scott is head of the directives now, and I think I don't know if they fired him or he actually quit. But
Honest,
yeah, he was supposed to be working on an Alien versus Predator sequel. I was hyped to see that going. I even subscribe. I paid literally a subscription for him for Fede Alvarez on Twitter just because I've seen the news about Alien versus Predator sequel, and I really wanted to see that, but I don't know what the hell happened. Something went wrong. But nonetheless, the thing what I liked about this director is that he pretty much took pieces of puzzles of everything combined of all these movies. Sure, it's not the greatest, but the storyline landed pretty well. And I'm not a big fan of the ending of the movie, by the way. Just so you know, I fucking hate that shit. It literally ruined my whole fucking moment. Um, but yeah, I think everything else, if you cut that off from the movie, everything else about Romulus was freaking great, man. Just the ending was pretty horrible. I like how they took the samples from Prometheus, how they mixed it up with the Big Chap's elements and making some kind of a new Xeno. That was a great idea, but the way they finalized the product was horrible. It's just
No,
I don't
I
know.
agree with you there. But
It
I mean,
just didn't feel too good.
I really, I actually, I mean, again, because they expanded on the lore with the Xenomorphs in Alien Romulus, and it's, I mean, we finally actually saw in a live action movie, the Xenomorph in its, cocoon state from when it emerges as a fully grown Xenomorph, like, and even when it's in its cocoon, it's still not defenseless, as we saw.
Yeah, it
Um,
was not.
but I thought that was really cool because that particular Xenomorph, obviously, because it got stabbed in the face by a cattle prod or whatever it was, it had like a crack on the front of its dome on its head, so you always knew which one it was. Like
Yeah.
that was we haven't really seen anything like that since the grid Xenomorph in Alien versus Predator to distinguish which one is which and so on.
That definitely gave me a resurrection vibe, man. At least for me. That the same kind of abomination the way he came out from the only difference that he came out from a Xeno eggshell, but on this part it's literally human. But yeah, if you match it up as abomination, they kind of look with each other kind of alike, but still not as you said, I'm not a huge fan of resurrection. I would definitely gonna pick that abomination over this one 100% more. It's just too much,
Well,
man.
I mean,
It's
personally, I'm not really a fan of the whole complete mutated abomination forms because the newborn
White
and then the
Spring, right? That
offspring.
was the name. I forgot it's something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
something
I'm
like
not a
that.
fan really of either of them. To be honest with you, I mean, I just want to see more of the Xenomorph's evolution as a whole, not as like experimented with or just
Another
stupid
human
decisions
form,
by
technically.
like I mean that choice that the youngster made, who was pregnant when she injected herself with the black goo. I was like, okay, madam, you done fucked the hell up when she injected herself with that stuff.
I was literally in the theater, man. Like I was hearing all my buddies over there yelling, "Don't take the serum! Don't take the serum! Don't be silly!" People were literally yelling at the crowd and shit. I was like, "Wow."
Just I would have just took her back to the ship, put her in cryostasis until we could get her to a hospital or something like that, and just left it at that. Like, there's no, I don't know why you would like want to take your chances, especially if you're pregnant. Do you know what I mean? It's
I think
like,
it was under. If you think about it, though, Xeno man, it kind of makes sense. Just think about it. Like she was like in so many scenarios of depressing moments right there. She saw her brother being literally destroyed by the Xenomorph live with her own eyes. She was like in so much heat. Then you get Ash trying to manipulate her to take this serum. Like she was at that verge point to say, "What the hell am I supposed to do here? I don't know what I'm going against." It was supposed to be a mission for money, apparently, but it turned out wrong. They just woke up with all these damn creatures, crawling around this ship, and her only reaction was, "Hey, I have to take my chances." So I could understand the survivability choices there for that instinct. But like you said, they're literally youngsters. So of course they do
yeah.
dumb decisions all the time. So yeah, to that
Well,
extent,
you'd
it
be
makes
surprised what we
sense.
do. You'd be surprised what we do when you're young and you panic, especially when you're
Yep.
a parent to be. But at the same time, like, I mean, just looking at that stuff, like, it's it doesn't look. It's a liquid of some sort that doesn't look natural at all,
Yeah.
and you know, like I mean, just looking at that stuff. I mean, if I was in Ash, I don't think I would have. But I mean, I know that we get to a point where desperate times call for desperate measures. But as a fan and critics standpoint, I think she really should just be just grateful that she didn't have a face hugger latch onto her and that she wasn't torn to shreds in that moment that the Xenomorph grabbed her.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I say, yeah, I love pretty much all the films. Of course, apart from Resurrection. um, but the I only really like Alien versus Predator One. Don't like Alien versus Predator Requiem at all.
Neither do I.
It I could turn my brightness up to like 1,000, and I still couldn't see what's going on screen. But
Hey, you gotta admit, at least Wolf Predator put up a show, man. At least that.
yeah, he was the best. I mean, I did like obviously seeing the Predalien for the first time. I mean, that was cool, and seeing the Wolf Predator, who was pretty much like, you know, the single.
And by the way, do you
badass
know
of the
that
film.
literally, I think like just the way they designed Wolf Predator in the movie, I have a deep feeling that they definitely try to replicate a little bit Ahab Predator because he kind of have the same scars and marks. He doesn't have an eye as well because of the engineer, scarring him off and all. So
Yeah.
I think to that extent, I think that's why they try to kind of like replicate that form of a Predator character, which is okay. I liked it. It's not too bad.
I actually am having. Do we actually know any lore as to why the Wolf Predator is so on one side of his face
You know what's
disfigured?
funny? I never really checked it out, man. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't know. I
It
don't
probably
even know
is
if
worth
there's
checking
his.
out.
Yeah,
He's
I
missing
haven't
one of his pincers as well.
probably.
Um,
I
but
only studied a little bit like the symbols of the mask because you've seen how every single predator has like symbols, right? I mean, we've known
mm,
from the very first movie that with the scars and symbol they mark a history point and blah 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 blah. But for each predator, each mask with symbols and marks has basically a different story to tell. Like Wolf Predator, he has many marks, so you can fully imagine for how many. I wouldn't even say decades at this point, man, because these living things live like 200 to 300 years. So I would say centuries, you know, of
mm,
of continuous hunting. So it's almost like it's an unmatchable hunting season for them. It's like they're so used to it. They don't even feel any sort of feelings to it anymore. They just know they have a job to do, and that's what they do. So that's the loving thing about these symbol marks is it represents a story behind their mask. It's not just a casual mask where they grab it or whatever. It's just literally
mm.
it's history there written.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I mean, another subplot that I've always found interesting is the lore behind the Xenomorphs in the Predator's history that we kind of get a glimpse of in Predator 2 when we see the Xenomorph skull on a trophy wall in the 90s,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. So, um, so clearly the Xenomorphs have been around for a very long time. Um, like, if you want to, I don't know, if you want to say that the Predator movies and the Alien movies are in the same timeline and canon, um, but that's, I mean, what you could argue with the protomorphs is that there probably was xenomorphs already around at that point, but you could say that that's the perfect organism in David's eyes,
Yeah.
like his version of
Yeah.
them. So, like, I think you could still get. I mean, because for a while when I saw Alien Covenant, I was a bit disappointed because when we watched it I watched it in the cinema with my mates, and we were kind of like, so it really isn't alien at all. It's just something created by one of the synthetics.
Yeah.
And then, um, as time's gone by, more laws been released and so on. So you really could just argue that that's just his version of the Xenomorphs. But I like the fact that they sort of hints that they've always had a history with each other. But I really want an Alien vs Predator film that's sort of set in the colonial Marines era, kind of like the games, not in
Yeah.
the modern era, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
I think that was well. I mean, they could arguably get away with it with the first Alien versus Predator film because they're in a pyramid from history and stuff like that, away from the mainland. But I think that was the biggest mistake in Requiem. Because any diehard Alien fan would know, and Predator for that matter, knows that if an alien infestation landed on Earth in the modern era, then yeah,
You know what? Now that you brought it up, man. Speaking of which, I'm gonna lay this one, and then we can actually start to do our history with this AVP 2010 thing after. You know what's actually funny, man, is that this is why I always keep saying to myself, dude, the xenomorphs are, if for me, I'm always gonna think with that idea inside of my head that the moment that Xeno bursts out of a human being, it will 100% have DNA, human DNA into it, for the simple fact that look at the freaking they can build, and they can literally, like, the xenomorphs are like ants, dude. Like, they can build, they can make infrastructures around them. You've seen already what their capabilities are. They're like, if you think about it, uh the predators are like the Roman Empire of another age, and same goes with the xenomorphs. They work in the same way. They have the same type of ranking system, laws. Even between them, they don't have like a proper language to describe that, but it's what they live for. You know, so it's crazy to see like two species. They're so opposed to each other, but they're like having the same thing in common at the same time. It's just crazy. But I
There's
love
always
it.
going to be
That's
there's always going to be a rival hierarchy between both the species, regardless. I mean, it's like if you dive onto the lore between when the Queen Mother, I think it's called, dies, then you got multiple hives at war with each other on Xenomorph Prime.
By the way,
I
Xenoman, you
mean,
know who I speaking of which, somebody who's like, I know you're super passionate about aliens, but I have to say, I have a friend of mine. You have to have a chatter with him because this guy will mind blow you. He has like he is fucking insanely passionate about xenomorphs. Like, he could talk to you 24/7, and trust me, he's the type of guy that when he talks, everything he says is super fucking interesting. He's so into it. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's a Spanish dude. His name is Sticklow. Kind of reminds me of the good old Chakram Blade a little bit. I don't know if you ever caught him on PC before. He's a super chill guy.
oh no, we'll get to Chakram when I talk about the history of ADP. We'll get to that.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to, because he's obsessed with that stuff, man. I'll have a chatter with you and him one day when he has the time, because he's making a lot of illustration. He's like, I don't know if you know, if you ever. No, I don't think you saw his room, but yeah, his room is literally nothing but literally alien life form, and is like, he lives that shit in character. It's just crazy. He's way more passionate. And speaking about comic books, that guy can read you everything from the palm of the book, like from page 1 to page 10. That's how insane it is. Well, I only take a little bit of notes from it. I don't even go that deep, but he gives you the full description of it. It's just insane. But yeah, he's totally into it, and he's a good player too, by the way. He's not like he's just like really random. Like, he really be like top alien players. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, he has a he's super passionate, but he doesn't like trash talk. He hates that stuff. He's super chill. Like, he's always gonna, like I said, he's kind of like Chakram. He doesn't really, he's tried to avoid that sort of stuff. He likes like really challenging games, and likes to laugh and say dumb stuff all the time, but that's about it. That's where his old fun routine ends. Calls it a day, which I'm like that too now. I'm not like what I used to be as well.
Well, we're all young at one point, but I mean, like I say, I mean,
But
there's
anyways,
always going to be times like that.
now we need to start with your AVP journey, man. Going back to the man, the myth, the legend itself, the Xenoman. How it had all started off for me, from people you met, from players, and why did you join the clans and stuff like that. We'll start with that picture over there. So we'll try to
Okay.
archive it accordingly. Like, just tell me, how did you initiate this whole thing? But hold on, before you start, give me 1 minute. I need to go to the bathroom so I can we can finally hear the full story of the man, the myth, the legend. That's how I'm gonna title it on YouTube. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, buddy.
I don't know if you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right.
um,
All right, man. So, go ahead. Tell your story. Tell the people who you are. Represent yourself. What have you been? What have you been through? And how did it all start for you?
well, like I say, I mean, I got the game. Pretty much the day it came out. I think it was the. I mean, I could be wrong. I definitely know it was February. I think it was the 10th of February, 2010. But I didn't have Xbox Live until the summer that year. So really,
What
all
year was this? 2010, right?
2010, yeah. So
Okay.
really, I was just sort of passionately playing the campaigns over and over again. And
Mhm.
when I finally got Xbox Live, I mean, I wasn't called Xenoman then. I can't even remember what I was called at the time. I wasn't called Xenoman then, but um,
No, don't worry.
but
We all had cheeky names before as well, man. I had
um,
Whisker Legacy. I had many others as well.
but it was the first time I'd ever been on Xbox Live, and AVP was the first game I played on Xbox Live. So
Wow,
um,
what a
at
journey!
the time, I didn't really care much for the gamer tag. I just wanted to play, and so yeah, I was playing for a lot. I just ranking up, and I remember bumping into this. I mean, I was like 14 or 15 at the time. I remember bumping into this player who I found so frustrating.
Hmm.
Um, like this is an alien player, by the way. Like at the time, I felt like I had no trouble like killing anyone. But then I bumped into this player. I could not touch him. Like as an alien, I could not touch him. He was called Wailing Elite, and for a
Hmm.
long time he was actually number two or number three on the XP leaderboards on Xbox. And
Damn.
at the time he was actually the best alien. And eventually I started talking to him, and I used to train with him all the time. But his alien, like, I mean, like if he didn't retire early, if he actually stayed, like I think take everything good about my alien, just double it, literally.
Huh.
Like that's how. that's how relentless I thought he was. Like he was quite. I mean, he was quick to attack, but he was always patient with hand-to-hand combat and a lot more accurate with the alien 20-footers than I was at the time.
Huh.
And and I remember like we were playing like in a mixed species and we were on Temple and then we bumped into a Marine who was really really frustrated to kill, who would happen to be none other than Chill Out 47 himself.
The what's it called? I had a nickname for him. Back in the day, me and Mamba used to call him a name. I just can't remember. It doesn't click now. We had a specific nickname for him. Something about specialist, but it doesn't click right now. But yeah. Anyways, go ahead. If it comes up, I'll tell you.
I'd say, I mean, Chill Out's always been a very talented first-person shooter, and like, because with other Marines, like, you'd kind of think, if you're trying to retreat, you're pretty much not going to die because you're running all over the place, and no one's going to hit you with a pulse string. No, different kettle of fish with Chill Out. He would always pinpoint where you're running, and you'd just be left speechless. And
Huh.
pretty much the same happened with him. We started talking with him. He was very talented with the well, pretty much everything. Like he was always pinpoint with his weapons, and pretty much did the same with him. But eventually, I mean, there was other members as well. There was another alien player called Rini, and
Rini.
she would have been like, she would have Rini 91, I think she was. I mean, she would have
Okay.
been like probably what 19 or 20 years old at the time, but she was a really good alien player as well, and of course, there was Pro Run as well. He was a good Marine. He was no. He was pretty much. I mean, at the time, he was. I don't know. I mean, with Pro Run, I think he was more of a. He played all three species primarily, if you know what I mean. Like he wasn't the
Yeah.
kind of player that just primarily stuck with the Predator or the Marine or the Alien. He was equally balanced with all three species, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
if we were
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
doing
He's a
matchmaking.
versatile player. Let's put it like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if we were playing other clans and, like, say, if we needed a predator, he'd switch to the predator. If we needed a marine and someone, he'd switch to the marine. That's just how he was,
Yeah. He was
you
just
know.
flexing species technically.
hmm and but I mean, to put it lightly, I mean, uh, before like Whaling Elite's retired, because he retired quite early, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then like doing 1v1s with Chill Out 47 all the time. Um, it's going to force you into a position where you're going to have to be all over the place, very unpredictable. It's the only way you could really,
Yeah.
it's the only way you could really kill him. And then, the other rival clans like DBH started to emerge. And before DBH emerged, we were always kind of like the kind of players like, in the clan that we were in at the time. We always like thought it was like not cool to use the plasma caster because of how overpowered it was. As soon as DB8 showed up, that was pretty much thrown out the bag because they would just shoot and shoot and shoot. And of course, we were forced to do the same thing as well. Because we used to get beaten by them quite a lot, and like you got the players like Ravage, Razor Kills and all that, skillful with the disc and
Yeah.
coordinating all the parts of the maps, and we were pretty much forced to play the same way. But it did take us a while to actually do a comeback with them, and when it finally did happen, it was, we were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go all out and do our own thing now, kind of thing. And I don't know when this happened, but then I mean, how I was introduced to him, I actually kind of felt a bit embarrassed, to be honest with you. But I was told like it says, Xeno, like 1v1 this guy, and I was kind of like, okay, sure. And this mysterious dude has beaten my alien like to 20-17, and
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then Chill Out was like, oh, it's Chakram Blade. He's from PS3, best alien. I was like, what? You could have told that. But yeah, Chakram, such a chill dude.
Yeah, he's
Not
super cool.
not into any of the gossip or drama. Just wanted to
No,
play.
no, 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 no.
I couldn't think of I couldn't think of a single bad thing to say about the lad. He was like
You
on
wanna
PC.
you
Go on.
wanna hear a quick short story? Man, me and Mama, we tried to recruit him for years in Alphas. Like we really tried like we were literally just because he was hosting a lot of matches on PS3 quite a lot. We were literally just joining there for him just to chill out with him, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, Mama always tried to come up with these. Hey, Chuck, you should join our squad. We definitely need a Xeno. And he was all like, hey, man, I appreciate the offer, but you know, I'm the kind of guy who likes to play with everybody with friends, but I'm not a clan type of person. I just want to chill and play and have fun, pretty much. He has always been like that. That's why I think him and Mom officially is technically it's like one of the most, and Belarus too. I have to put him in there too. So yeah, those three are literally the only people I've become what I've become today because the amount of 1v1 matches we've played, I can't even count on my fingers how many we've played. It's just too many. Too
Yeah.
many. So, well, yeah, go
Um,
ahead. Continue on. Sorry, I actually interrupted you from going on.
no, that's fine. I'm just struggling to think back, but
No, we were
I
talking about when you guys met.
yes. So met him for a bit, game with him for a bit, and he eventually went back to PlayStation. And I remember at the time, like I was desperately trying to get a 1v1 out of Tyrant King Alien for a very long time, actually. But I
Everybody
mean, I
hated that
just
guy for some reason, man. Even I did. I don't know why I hated him, but I did for some reason. I don't know why.
well, I mean, as bizarre as this was at the time, I mean, this would have been like 2013, 2014 when I started reaching out to him at the time. Like, I mean, I hadn't even met the dude. Like, I mean, I heard so much about him. I heard that he was Canadian. I thought, well, I mean, if he's not,
Right.
I'd like to see where I stand with him. So I'm reaching out to him, not really getting any much of a response. Um, and after I couldn't get a hold of him, um, well, you know, I've got an extra few quid in the back. I thought, I'm gonna face the PS3 players and see what it's like over there. And I met Kidder as well, Kidder Wolf. She was
Ida
another
Wolf, yeah.
really good, yeah, another great Alien player, but really really chill as well. Pretty much like Chakram.
Oh, hold
Out of
on.
all the Alien,
Sorry for
yeah,
interrupted you. I don't know if she had, this is one of the most thing that she annoyed everybody. Yeah, she's super chill, but there was one particular thing. I think if you ask any PS3 player from that time, she had the strangest fucking grabs on that game I've ever fucking seen. Dude, the amount of time I was yelling on the mic because of how annoying that shit was. Like she would grab you. So imagine you're playing Refinery. You would be like,
mm,
somewhere around the spear, right? She would
yeah,
grab you from the spear to all the way down at literally in the middle between the at the bottom caster, from
mm,
all the way over from the fucking spear. And you just notice like your body disappears and you just go in death animation from all this and like what the fuck. Yeah,
well,
man,
I
she
mean,
was special with the grabs, dude. So
I mean,
nobody
not to
could do the
mention
shit
you.
that she would do.
I mean, she wasn't just talented at that. She was talented at, I mean, because I mean, I struggled to do these, but she was extremely talented at, like when you're on the walls and on the ceiling, and then you can grab,
Yeah.
from the wall. She was extremely good at that. I mean, I personally didn't really like doing that because every time I tried that, you either miss the grab, and then for a moment you're
Desync.
like sort
Yeah.
of frozen on the spot, and then you're in a vulnerable position. But she had no trouble doing that at all, and I kind of thought, okay, fair play. Um, but I mean, I went over to PS3, and eventually Chill Out came over as well, and we were facing the clans over there as well. But I found that uh, I don't know, like um, I found the PS3 pad. Um, I don't know. I got used to it eventually, but I found it really, really uncomfortable because I've got really, I've always,
It's the
I've got really I've got really large hands, if you know what I mean. That's why I'm
Yeah.
always like, I mean, even if I use a pad on the PC, I'm always using an Xbox One. I mean, the PS4 and
Mhm.
the PS5 pads are not bad at all, but do you remember how small the PS3 ones were?
Yeah, it
I
was
found it
pretty
really,
small.
really uncomfortable.
I feel you on that.
Um,
But I'm gonna have to
um,
say it, man. I'm always gonna be a PS3 controller lover, dude. I'm gonna be more up and personal with that. It's I'm not because I literally grew up on the controller. It's I just felt like that was like the controller where I can do so many things with things. Like I could use my index finger and swap between triangle, square, and like I could do crazy stuff with that controller. While with the PS4, I mean, I understand your point, but yeah, PlayStation definitely went to that evolution of kind of like trying to replicate a bit what Xbox controllers are doing while still maintaining their shapes and all. But
I
nonetheless,
mean, I kind of understand, like, I mean, I wouldn't say go about redesigning it. But I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if you remember the original Xbox controller, like that one. That To say that that controller was dangerously huge was an understatement. That controller was so huge it was pretty much unusable that they had to
yeah, I
remodel it.
remember it.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
that. Um,
Hey, out of all the Xbox, literally, it's the only Xbox I ever had was literally the OG Xbox. I remember I had these. That was my brother's Xbox when I had it. And he gave it to me for my birthday, and I remember the first two games I bought was literally the Chronicles of Riddick, the Butcher Bay, and what's it called? The Juiced? Yeah, Juiced. It was a racing game. So yeah, those were my two games that I had on Xbox. My very first Xbox. But yeah, I
oh
only
yeah,
had the
very good
OG.
choices. Yeah, I mean, very good choices with your Xbox. But I mean, I was able to chill out was able to show me how to connect the PS4 pad to the PS3. So there we go. We're away now. Um,
I don't remember if I actually told him that because I remember now that you mentioned. I mean, it's been such a long time. I don't even know if I remember this correctly, but I know a lot of Xbox players who came over to PS3. They always asked me if there was an option where you can convert the PS4 controller into PS3, which I pretty much stated like it was like it's not like it was simple, but it literally had Bluetooth on it, so you could have activated from there while you plugged it in. And I know Chilla had that issue too.
Yeah, you had to connect it through Bluetooth, and then you had to tweak a few things in the settings, but
Hmm.
you had to manually connect it in order to actually
Yep.
officially connect it, if you know what I mean. It was a bit of a ball ache, but worth it in the end. But
Yep.
yeah. So we've met the players of Alpha Wolves, Brute Squad, etc., etc. And
You can tell your experience you had with it, man. You don't have to feel like Skippy. I'm also gonna say about it too. Like for example, I would love to hear because this is like one side of the story. I've never personally been there to see it, but I've seen you guys like in the mythical order to say not to like bring bad parts about it, but I know you guys had like for example a lot of beef even with DBH. I've seen like the comment section a little bit. I've read something about it. I mean, it was like some
well,
intense beef sometimes, because
I mean,
that's how I met Chill Out as well.
I mean, like, yeah, the word beef moments. And I was going to get to one in a moment. Because when we came over to PS3, there was well, virtually no beef at all. But then there was some things stirring up on Xbox shortly sometime after. So I've come back to Xbox, and I don't know if you remember Arza Miller, great Predator player as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
yeah, there have been some stuff stirring up between Scar Predator and I don't know if it was I don't know, like I called him out to some 1v1 of um because something about he had me in his like trophy list and his bio or something, so I was just straight on like, yeah, right then.
Oh man,
Um,
how did I not? How did I miss this?
um, but yeah, that's when I uploaded that 1v1 on Refinery towards him with a brutal fatality from MK9 at the end to basically like say it was the fact it was the fact that it was the fact that he just threw some BS out there, and that's just the kind of lad I am. If between me and you, like
Oh man.
if like I'm the kind of lad where like if I generally don't like you, I will actually say that I don't like you. If you know, if you sound, you sound. If you're an arsehole, you're an
Yeah.
arsehole. But I don't like people that are nice to be faced and then talk shit behind my back. That's what really gets me wound up.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
So,
this, man, because a lot of people, for example, they took me on the wrong foot. Not now. I'm like I'm the type of guy who's always gonna complain. But for example, on AVP, hold on, give me 1 second. Somebody's calling me. Yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, like a lot of people, like for example, I had a lot of beef for no reason because some people thought that I was like talking trash to them. That I was like more pissed off that this. You know how AVP works, man. It's just gonna piss you off all the time. Because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, dude, I hit this guy 2 times with a fucking heavy. He recovers so damn quickly, and he starts to, coming back from that nonsense. If I did it on another delayed bullshit host, it wouldn't have happened. So of course you're gonna hear me complain. That's not like saying I hate the dude or personally I tag trash talk to him. It's like, oh, this lucky motherfucker. I would be something like that.
yeah, it's
But
just a connection gets so frustrating
yeah, and it
until
just
you
hits
flip
you
out.
so hard in the brain that it pisses me off, and so I'm like, I don't hate the player, I hate the fucking game. It's very different. So like, oh, you talking shit, Wesker? What the fuck is wrong with you, you bitch? Blah blah blah. Blah. And then I said that, and then you just made everything worse. So even I was stupid at that time. I have to self admit it. Like I'm not trying to sit there and say I wasn't cool with it, but I kind of react to it, so I try to feed up the bullshit as well. So I got in that sense of like finding a purpose to fucking talk trash back since I've been frustrated and all. So it just kind of went like that. But now looking at it, man, I just look at like it's just some childish bullshit I used to pull off. So. But yeah, fun times, dude. It's just good for the laughs. That's all you can really do nowadays.
Yeah, fun times. I mean, but yeah, that's
Crazy
but
youth.
yeah, then so Scar Predator was out of the way, and then I eventually did try calling Tyrants out to a 1v1 again. Um, Still heard nothing from him, and I remember like I was with Seeker, Dynamite, and Godfather and Chill Out
I met
in
all
a
of
chat
these
room.
guys.
Yeah, like true OG legends and stuff like that. And I remember like just briefly disappearing, and then just coming back into the chat room, and then Tyrant was in there, and
Hmm.
upon getting onto the topic about this 1v1, um, and just bearing in mind, this is probably like the first time I've ever spoken to the dude. Um, he was quick to say that he'd already beaten me, and he says, "Oh, he knows what I'm talking about," and I was just like, "What?" And with that cat out of the bag, that's what led to the 1v1, which I'm embarrassed to say that I lost to by 1 point. Um,
I think he
but
uploaded that, didn't he?
yes, he did. I
Wasn't
mean,
it on Temple?
it was on Temple, yes, and it was the
Yeah, yeah, I
best
remember. I
choices.
remember.
Um, I mean, I wanted to do the first to 20. He wanted to do until the time ran out, and I just thought, well, I've called him out, let him call the shots. And but yeah, we agreed to do a 1v1 of my hosts afterward. And despite hating the connection and consistently being drawn to the walls to just do a tail whip 1v1, um, by the time the time had run out, I'd lost by 1 point. He vanished, and I never saw him again. And
Hmm.
for a while, it really did stress me out. It really, really wound me up because, like, um, I could hear someone in the chat room while I was fighting him on his host, like saying because I think the times were in, it was saying, "Oh, Xena, wouldn't because you're ahead, just avoid him."
Yeah.
But I mean, my pride couldn't do that. I had to keep engaging him. I thought I can't just run away from. I've got too much pride for my own good for that. Um, but eventually, I just thought, like, well, really, he's really not really. When I catch him in the open, he's really not that hard, and I just moved on from it. I just thought, worth it anyway. But
Yeah,
But I
from
mean,
that point, you could. I remember. You know why I remember this? Because I remember you too. Because I know you also uploaded a video, and he did too. But I remember, man, I was laughing so fucking hard, and I think I'm not so sure if I was with Chill Out on PS4 already talking about it. I'm not so sure. It's been such a long time. But I remember his excuse he said to you. I'm always gonna remember this for the rest of my life. He pulled off a 4th of July joke to you, bro. And this guy was
what is
like
it?
already online playing the game and shit. And then he said he was like saying that stuff, and then you came there in the comments saying like, "Hey, buddy, I thought you were out there celebrating and shit. I see you're still playing the game."
I
Like,
mean, I
oh,
was
the
very.
hypocrisy was so real, man. Oh wow.
I mean, I was very young at the time, like 19 or 20 years old at the time, and honestly, I knew nothing about the 4th of July at the time that everyone celebrated. I mean, I do now,
Yeah,
obviously,
but he
but
said it
at
to
that
you like you were actually American, like you even celebrated it. That's the funny part, because that's how he
oh
referred
god,
it to it. You know, that was
no,
his excuse to not accepting your 1v1 because you were literally calling him out.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm a classic angry British lad. That's I didn't know anything about the 4th of July.
Yeah, who
Um,
wouldn't? Who
but
wouldn't?
I mean, but yeah, like I mean, we just kept the clans, rolling and stuff like that. You know, you had players like Venom as well.
Oh, Venom was a great player, man. He
Yeah,
was a little cocky bastard, though. I'm gonna have to say it, but yeah, he was
he
definitely
was
good.
young. He was young as well. Like he was a bit younger than I was at the time. But I did find his original gamer tag very questionable at the time.
Oh
But
God.
no, he was a very good player. Um, uh, yeah, like I mean, I had some. I mean, the 1v1 tournaments that Chill Out hosted, and even the 2v2 tournaments that MBB Bone Hunter hosted. They were really really fun. Um,
That's something
I
new.
think yeah, like well, this all happened on I think this happened on Xbox and PS3 alike.
I think we
The
only managed to pull one tournament, mainly because of you and Chill Out a while back. I don't know if you remember. We were like kind of like reorganizing when I kind of like just. I was at that verge of time where I was like reducing my time from the competitive scenes. And I was like, fuck it, we need somebody to focus on the content here, because nobody really does anything. So I remember I approached this to you, and yeah, both of you and Chill Out agreed to do this tournament. But then again, it ended up pretty well, but then the second time we did it, nobody actually came. Everybody was that kind of fucking scared to play for some reason. They felt like their lives were involved whenever you would refer to a tournament, so they just stopped to it.
it's just a community thing, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
um, MBB Bone Hunters was actually one of the first tournaments on Xbox. That was like a 2v2 one that he would do, and he would actually spectate and host them and record them. But yeah, shortly after all that, I jumped onto PC for the first time. I mean, it wasn't like a gaming laptop or anything that I had at the time. It was actually my college laptop. It was like a HP ProBook 4540 or something. Um, it ran the game decently on the lowest settings, and I mean there was a few FPS drops, and I remember like getting a huge amount of money from work on my second paycheck when I started work because they got my tax code wrong, so I ended up getting a lot of money. And I bought myself I mean, it was all right for the time, but I mean, it was an MSI gaming laptop with I mean, it's not the greatest graphics. It had a good Intel i7 processor with 6 cores,
Okay.
with a graphics card GTX 950M. I
Damn,
mean,
it was definitely ahead of its time.
but yeah, that ran AVP no problem at all on PC, and I remember bumping into Parasite, if you remember him,
Yeah.
PC's best alien, and
Remember though, hold on, before we start this, remember, it's literally you and Chuck the reason why I came to this damn platform. Otherwise,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't even have touched PC, man. You guys brought me back. I mean, I had PCs before. Don't get me wrong, but I always stick to the console for a lot of freaking years, and then yeah, you and Chuck finally convinced me to get it, and I said, screw it, let's just give it a try. And this was like where somewhere around 2015, 2016, because it was right at the end of the year, a couple like on September, October, somewhere around there. So.
I mean, the PC platform, like, I mean, honestly, like, I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoy it a lot more than I did the consoles. And I'm not saying that, I mean, because of the people on the consoles. I'm saying that
Yeah.
because of the dedicated servers that there were and so on, and like how. Do you remember the old days when you'd like? I'm talking about the really really old days when you'd actually look for a rank match and you'd be there for ages.
Forever, yeah. You
Yeah,
had to
you'd
call
wait
your
ages.
buddies to search for a ranked match just so you can get some rank ups. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
and then you could jump into these just server matches that would just automatically change your maps and so on, and you'd still rank up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were really really good. I mean, there were a few bumping into some speed hacks, and you just think, oh, bugger off for you. And but I remember like finally actually bumping into Parasite, and he was another alien player that was actually genuinely really really good, but all chill, kind of like Chakram. Um, but I mean, from their experience, they frowned upon back grabs quite a lot, and I can kind of understand why. Because the mechanics are a lot different. Like
On PC.
it's a lot more it's a lot more balanced. And oh my god, I remember like my first time being on PC, I was always going for Marines like they were the easiest things to kill. When in reality, they're not on PC. Like they're actually pretty. So I go to tail whip one, and then one would just turn around and just shoot me in the face with a shotgun, and I'd be like, well now. And but I mean, there's also the lunge that the alien does that can knock people over. Like, and as handy as that is, I found that it was always you still got to be careful when you do it because everyone puts their block up quite a lot more on PC than they did on the consoles,
Right.
especially the Marines. And all it takes is just to lunge at the wrong moment, and you probably know you're already screwed before you even touch that Marine
Yep.
if you do it
Yep.
wrong.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
because you don't like, for example, what I've noticed about blocking, like on console, you can literally spam that thing. It instantly blocks. On mouse and
yeah,
keyboard and on controller, no. I actually tested on a controller and it's not like that. But on mouse and keyboard, it's all about timing. If you time it wrong, you're fucked, dude. Like you can't do it the way you do it with a controller. You can't block the same way. I don't know, it's kind of hard to even explain. It has like that like for example, on controller you push the button and it blocks instantly the moment you do the block. With the
mhm,
mouse and keyboard, you have that, I don't know, some sort of a input delay, if you want to call it like that, where it takes like that
yeah,
extra second to actually block. So that puts you at a fucking horrible disadvantage, and it's it's
yeah. You
it's
could
really
say it was
bad.
like you could say it's like a low latency in terms of the delay,
Yeah, like you
compared to the
cannot
keyboard and the mouse.
you cannot block like spam like I could like for example block and unblock like I can do that constantly like 30 times with a controller, while with the mouse and keyboard I would probably only do like 4 or 5 times repeatedly.
Mhm.
You know, that's how bad it is. But it's not like it was a problem. It's just like you have to hold the block more longer. But even that puts you at a bigger disadvantage because if if you stay too long with a block and you're like between the ceilings or walls where the Xeno can transit, you're kind of screwed. So
Yeah.
you just have to really be
Um,
careful with that.
well, I mean, the benefits of PC, from everything that I knew as an Alien player at the time, and then moving over to PC, and it found it very useful on the console as well. Is if I bumped into pro Marine players, like they would always have the block up, and if you're in like a place like where you can go on the ceiling, what I used to, and I used to do this to chill out all the time when I come back from PC. It really used to. Um, I don't want to use my words carefully, like, because if he's watching this, he's probably going to think. But, but like,
All right, he's your bud. He'll forgive you.
no, because I'd run towards the marine on the ceiling and then like sort of zigzag across and then run back and then turn around and then lunge because it would kind of like throw them off. If you
Yeah,
know what I mean, like
yeah,
I would do things like that a lot, but when you do it, I mean, because it's really hard to explain. But like I used to like when I come back from PC, I started incorporating like lunge attacks in the middle of hand-to-hand combat on PS3 and Xbox because I used to always treat the alien lunge like almost the equivalent of a heavy attack in terms of damage. This is why sometimes you'd see me do that thing where like if I've heavy attacked a predator and then I do what is the heavy block lunge.
yeah,
Because by the time I'm about to land, they will probably release their block and go to do a light attack.
yeah.
Um, I used to do that a lot on PC. The idea only came when I realized what the damage, was worth. But if you did that on PC, it would still stun them and it would give you a few moments to sort of recover and reevaluate the situation.
Or just completely knocks him off, like on the floor, if you
Because all you
hit him
have to
right.
because all you have to do is just lunge at a marine and then light attack on console, and they're pretty much dead. So if I was incorporating that, like say if I've got I don't know a tail whip on a marine in a 1v1, like I could just run all over the place and then just decide to do a lunge and that would be it. But if you're doing it against someone like Chill Out 47, who's 1v1'd an alien player like me for a quite a long time, he's not going to easily be fooled. And
Yeah.
like I was still mind blown, like when the 1v1 between Chill Out and BHS finally happened, and like I thought to myself like while I was watching that, so I remember actually spectating that and recorded it for him, and then when I've watched him sort of like when Chill Out's decided, right, that's it, I'm not holding back now because this dude's so and so. But I mean, yeah, if you're a good player, you're a sound dude. But yeah, I knew Chill Out meant business when he decided to shoot BHS in the shoulder with his shotgun, so that he would fall over and then he'd whip a pistol out and finish him off. I was like, yeah, Chill Out's being serious now. Um, and I thought to myself, I thought to myself, I 1v1 this guy on a daily basis, and he's doing that. Um, but yeah, like I mean, uh, there is no other Marine that I've like faced on any of the platforms that you know can match Chill Out 47 in my opinion. Um, I've had 1v1s with Chakram Blade on PC, and I've won some and he's won some. I actually haven't ever beaten Chakram Blade. I only had a couple of 1v1s with him on the console. I've never actually beaten Chakram Blade on console. I've come close to, because there was that surprise 1v1 when I didn't know who he was, and then I had another 1v1 with him on PS3 on his home turf, probably a big mistake on my part. But he's he's something else in his own right. But I've always thought that I'm always going to be on my toes if I'm fighting against Chill Out 47, whether it's a 1v1 or in a team deathmatch in any shape or form. And even like like when you 1v1 someone so many times and you feel like you know them inside out, he just never
What's his
stops
next move
surprising
is
me.
about to be? Yeah, I'll feel
He
you on
just never
that.
stops surprising you. He will just never stop surprising you, like one way or another. Like whether it's like sometimes he'll go after you, sometimes he'll be patient. Because
Try to play
sometimes like
mind games with you.
yeah, exactly. Because I'd commonly 1v1 him on jungle, and that little circle pit with the steps behind him. He'd sort of hold out there sometimes, and I go to attack him. Um, and sometimes I'd be wounded, and then I'd make a quick retreat, and I'm always kind of thinking in my head, he's not going to cross this point because he knows that I'd kill him. And then sometimes I'd turn around, he'd be right there and just dead, and sometimes he wouldn't. It just depends on. I generally don't know. Sometimes he would, sometimes he wouldn't, and it's actually really
I'll tell
interesting
you.
because even when you go on,
I'll tell you a story of because I know you weren't on. I don't think you had PS3 at that time, but for sure you weren't there. But there was a time, and that's like how I met Chill Out, of course, because I met him on PS3. So can I say once upon a time? Yeah, I could say it. Man, this was very memorable to me because I literally sit there 2 hours watching Chill Out, literally just picking off all the best of the best Marine players PS3 literally had to offer. I was literally just sitting there on top of the pillars on jungle, witnessing him playing 1v1s every single player. The first player that I witnessed and I enjoyed the most, it was him versus Sarsen. I don't know if Chill had ever mentioned you this
yeah,
before. Yeah, and
yeah, like
yeah, it was.
Saracen, what a great player, very nice guy as well, by the way.
You know what's because I kept telling Chill Out because I feel bad for him because man, Sarsen he's such a nice guy, man. I don't even know how to describe how nice and polite he really is. Like he really doesn't care so much about what he would try hard, but he would be that type of person where he's like, take the win, man. You deserve it. You play even better than me. Like if he sees some weird glitching happen or he he sees like for example a kill that it doesn't make any sense to him, he would be like letting himself to get killed because he feels like the kill was unfair. He would be that kind of guy. And I'm like, man, you got to
Mm.
take that up your gloves, man, because people are just going to take all kinds of opportunities. It's just the game works. It's like, yeah, I know, but I just want to be fair. But, anyways, bottom line is, of course, you can't really compare him to Chill Out. It's without a shadow of a doubt, but I think at one point they came really close. I think it was a best of three. I mean, he won them all eventually, but the last game, him versus Sarsen was really freaking epic, dude. That was the first time I saw Sarsen freaking try, and I mean it, like actually. It was like 20-17, I remember. And
Mm.
man, it was gun blazing all over the place, dude. You would see like Chill Out peeking corners with the sniper, and then you would see Sarsen try to pick up corners. So they kept stunning each other, peek wall, and then heal each other every time. I was like, damn, these dudes are really trying. I'm like, the moment somebody's gonna snap a headshot there, it's game. And that was 17 for Sarsen, because Sarsen was ahead of Chill Out actually. I think Chill Out was at
Mm.
15
Well,
kills.
in my experience of watching Marine 1v1s, it's like when you watch an alien have a 1v1 or a predator 1v1 with like blades only, for instance, it's kind of like one dies and then they wait for the other one to turn up and then they fight.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
Marine, it's a different kettle of fish altogether because
And
it's
it's
like
those type of matches that you don't see often either.
yeah, it really is because you've got to. The reason why it's so different, and I remember like actually playing with the Marine and doing some friendlies with Gaz, and he would say that he says that I think it's kill him, but then he'd say right now that you killed him, he says you want to get your weapons and then you want to hold down as much as the map as you can, and then once you see where they've spawned, you want to get them when they're most vulnerable. That's how you kind of control the game, if you know what I mean.
And
And it's
your
kind of
and your worst enemy is movement. If you move too much around the map with Marine against Marine, you're giving away your position all the time.
yeah. I mean,
It's
it can be an absolute nightmare sometimes because if you're on jungle and you got the high ground and you spawn underneath, you couldn't be at a
yeah,
more
yeah.
disadvantage.
It is. It is. It really is. You can't really hide Marine versus Marine with a motion tracker on their on their HUD. You just can't. Like I mean, sure. I mean, if you don't have any sort of map awareness, I mean, yeah, it could be pretty probably difficult for you to just point your eyes at the ping alert all the time. But if you just like watch it for a second and you figure out where he's camping at, like you know where he's at because you just know the whole map. You know how many circles and holes and floors and stairs it has. You know, you've been playing the game for so long that you kind of know like every detail the game has to offer. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's technically what Marines are. You have to play very mobile as a Marine. Like you can't. I mean, mobile like in the sense of like standing still more than move. And you have to be like very centered position in positions where you know you have that way to reconfigure and readjust yourself to the game. Because if you move a little bit way too far from where he has like a peak corner advantage, you're absolutely fucked. So yeah, it's
Well,
definitely different.
I mean, I always found watching Marines in 1v1s very intriguing, especially when it was a Marine versus a Predator, just completely all out. Um, I mean, I still won't forget that 1v1 between Chill Out 47 and BHS. Like,
All out?
there, yeah, as far as I was aware, it was, if I can remember correctly, if it was all, I mean, I'll have to go back and check the video out, but I mean, like, I think everything was being used as far as I can remember. I could be wrong, but I mean,
On console, this
nevertheless,
was.
yeah, on console, this was,
That's crazy.
um, because I mean, I know it, I don't know if I mean, as far as I'm aware, it probably was all out. But I mean, I'll have to. It's been such a long time. I remember making the video and I actually opened it up with Arnie going to the press. You were one ugly motherfucker or something like that. But it was either all out or it was no sniper, no caster. It was one or the other. But I feel sure a sniper was involved. Like I say, you'll have to go and check it out. But regardless, when you watch that 1v1, you know that there are two Apex players of their characters
Base
really going all in.
going for every single caliber they got on them.
Yeah, basically. And like I mean, when Chill Out has, decides to shoot someone, in the shoulder with his shotgun and then pistol whipping, it's kind of almost like, yeah, I've got the high ground, bitch, kind of thing.
It's even more
Um,
humiliating when you get pistol to death, dude, or just punch kill. That would be the worst possible experience to ever witness to yourself. It's just bad. It
yeah,
happened to me so many times, and I got really pissed when it happened. I'm like, dude, you could have done a normal kill. Why the fuck you had to do these humiliating executions on me? Like, it's just, it used to be good at this is like I've seen like a lot of kinds of Marine players who has like all kinds of different special abilities, and so. But I'll tell you one particular player. This was the only Marine we had in Alpha Wolves that he was really fucking good at killing predators. Like he was crazy good, and I'm talking about like the kind of Marine player who would, out of 5 kills, 3 of those it's punch kills. At
wow,
least
okay,
three
fair
of
enough.
those, and you have no idea how annoying that shit is. Because you just sit there trying to. He lets you recover. You try to give him a light attack, and then he stomps you again. Like he cancels it sinks your melee because he doesn't even blast you with the alternative shot. He just gives you the normal shot in order to get you stunned. So he just fucks around with you until you get like 1/4 bit of your health bar on the back of your HUD, and then you see this guy just give you the final crush blow, and that should that is literally the one of those moments where you just want to grab the fucking mic and curse at this dude because it's just so annoying. Like you could have finished me off in so many ways, but you decided to fucking do that instead, and it's yeah, he was
Credit where
really good
credit's
with that,
due.
man.
The credit where credit's due. If you can do something like that, then by all means do it. Get good at it. Because no
You
one else
gotta
probably
you
will.
gotta ask BHS about that too, because he knows that story very well. It wasn't really something he enjoyed either, because I witnessed it firsthand. He did too. And yeah, back in the day, BHS wasn't like he was a great player, man. Don't get me wrong. All Out is, I think he's one of the greatest in my opinion. But That came later, dude. Because I spoke with you a lot about this. Because I said like, even at that time, like when you talk about the first years of AVP, nobody was really like the most complete player in those terms. Like I gotta be honest, how many times, like not just me, everybody else between them all, we went to YouTube, we watched people's gameplay. I did too. They watched mine, I watched theirs. So it was like we're kind of like stealing skills from each one of them, and you start to develop something that it just makes you more unique on your own, you know. And this is exactly what I've seen from Sniper. Sniper used to be known with heavies and plasma. From all of a sudden, this fucking dude goes around, throws spears, disc, plasma, heavies, like it was insane seeing that coming from him, you know. And it's kind of rare to even see him use spear. And I was like, I was in shock, dude. I have to be honest. Seeing him doing that, I was like, well, respect, shit. You do that type of thing, you know, he's really good. But yeah, over time, I even for myself, I mean, I can't really talk about myself, but I was just like kind of like seeing something a lot of people didn't, and it's preserving the energy, right? I thought that that was one of the most lucrative thing to work on because nobody was actually doing. Everybody was just just abusing the fucking plasma caster, which I'm okay. I like it too, but to a certain extent. And when you get matches like 4 versus 4 with Preds, you got 4 fucking Predators going always after the caster, no matter what. You don't even find energy because they're just glitching the shit out of it, and you're just going to remain without energy. So what did I did? I simply try to combine my weapons between stunning caster, finish disc, or stun disc, and use 1 bar shots, to get a headshot out of it, just to finish them off completely so I can reserve more energy for later. These were
Yeah,
like kind of the little small details I try to work upon it. So, because I knew the other guys needs the energy. So I was like, I try to preserve that in that perspective. So, I'm not here to disagree or to say that I did not learn from BHS. I did learn a couple of few tricks, but I didn't take everything from him. Like I just took like heavies, for example. The heavies, 100% to 180 degrees. I definitely learned it from him until I met Belarus. When I met him, it just it changed everything for me. This dude was like giving me shit for everything that I was playing. Like, oh, bro, no more this BHS heavy. This is bad. Even with his poor broken English, but still, I was able to understand what is he going for. So he kind of showed me that the 180 degrees heavy are not actually the real good ones, which they're not, because it's just something that people thinks. Yeah, I mean, if it goes, it goes. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely good. But then this dude shows me some heavies that I've never seen anybody doing it before. Like I've seen range heavies, but this guy will never miss a range heavy. Just the way he does it. It's kind of like a Street Fighter where he knows that perfect combo and he continuously doing it. So for him it was like heavy, backward, forward, backward, and I was like, what the hell is this? He was like telling me this heavy will make you unstoppable because the light attack will desync with the heavy. So even if he's gonna hurt you, you will always gonna land your heavies. And he was fucking right. And while
yeah,
when you do with 180 degrees, it will still land pretty quick. But that's more on the luck of the connection, though. That's what I've noticed. There's 2 different things between those 2 kind of heavies. The
yeah,
180-degree heavies is good if you're on a good connection and if you're host, especially as a host. But off host, you have to rely on distant movement. I had to practice there for hours and hours and hours with Belarus. Like he's the worst kind of teacher you can play with because he's the type of guy who will not fucking forgive you. He will sit there and punish you all the fucking time you make a mistake. So yeah, he
mm.
was
Well, it's
that
kind of
kind of
what you
guy.
really need, though. To be fair, it is kind of what you need, in order to actually be forced into
Oh,
that
dude,
position.
I took massive beatdowns. I don't even know how many wins he has over me, dude. I lost count. Like so many, so many. So hats down to him. He's always gonna be my mentor. He's literally the reason why I actually even continue to play Blades more often, and I got really passionate about it. So, but yeah,
Well,
nonetheless,
I mean, I'll say that's even though they need more players like that, but I mean, well, these days when it's just playing AVP on the PC, it's just a case of just seeing who we can really get though. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the story of the Xenoman.
yes, it is. It's been definitely a journey. I can't wait to see if I can grab This is what I'm kind of like. This would be more like of a super premiere event. I really hope we can nail this one off because even today for me, unfortunately, I can't find my freaking webcam cable, dude. And I was like looking all over the place and I can't find it. I think I probably either lost it or some friend of mine took it. So that's why I can stream properly with it. But nonetheless, for the next time, if we're ever going to have a podcast, I really hope, I think we might be able to get King involved too. Be advised. Because I love King, don't get me wrong, he's like one of my best buddies too. But me and him, we kind of have like a very deep rivalry history with each other. But not to take it any like seriously and all. But I always keep saying like, I respect your position, but you got to respect mine as well, like because we're all kind of like contributing to series of matches of how we perceive and how we succeeded on certain events, and I have to give Kim credits to his dues, because the dude totally earned it, and he is an interesting character, but I'm gonna have to say when it comes to friendship, honesty, and respect, yeah, he's one of those guys. He's a type of guy like if you show him respect, he'll be the same. He'll give the same to you back. So he's a pretty chill dude. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Been a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me, and yeah. Until next time.
Until next time. Hope everybody's enjoying the stream because I've seen like I had literally 3 viewers on Twitch. I can do it on YouTube for some reason, but I'll grab the video and I'll edit it one of these days and put it up on YouTube for those oldies who wants to watch it afterwards. But yeah, thanks for the views as well.